Hello and welcome to the Build, Become and Live podcast. I'm your host Emma and I'm a stylist and a real body activist, and I'm the founder of the Real Body Runway. Now, I probably will do a podcast for the Real Body Runway, which will obviously be about body confidence, personal styling, all that goodness. But for me right now, I kind of actually wanted to do this podcast as like a bit of a passion project and just share kind of like behind the scenes of like building a business, like my reflections, my lessons, just things obviously as well going on with life and like, you know, things that I'm dealing with, talk about things like my Hashimoto's thyroiditis that I have. So there's different topics that I just want to talk about, and I felt like this was the perfect platform to do it because you're not limited on time. You can go into your story, you don't have to put it into like a 5-second reel on Instagram. So yeah, I just felt like this was a bit of a passion project for me, and I just wanted to share my experiences. And you know, I feel like if this kind of helps one person, then I feel like I've done my job. Because when I was going through the transition of like leaving my job last year to trying to become like a full-time business owner, I really wish that there was someone out there to kind of help me through that journey, and someone that I could listen to and like sharing their stories. So that's kind of really what I want to do this for. So for this first episode, I've kind of declared that I am basically going to get my shit together. So I thought for this first episode, I would give an insight of what has happened, why I've come to this conclusion of getting my shit together, and basically the concept behind this podcast. So of like the build, become and live concept that I have. So you know, whether you're on your hot girl walk or you're watching this on YouTube, which, hello, I've just given you a little wave. If you're watching this on YouTube, then, you know, grab yourself a cup of tea or an iced matcha, whatever you fancy. And yeah, let's get into it. So I want to talk about what has happened within the last year, because the last year has been absolutely mental and it's been crazy. I'm probably actually looking back on it, probably one of my favorite years in such a weird way. But let me explain. So back in July, and obviously if you see me on YouTube looking down, it's because I'm looking at my notes. I've got like my book of notes with me just so I don't forget what I'm saying. So I've just got loads of little talking points. So yeah, back in July last year, in 2025, I decided to take the plunge and actually take a year off my supermarket job. And I have been in this supermarket job for 16 years. So which is so mad to think about. But as soon as I finished school, I went straight into a supermarket job, and I've just been there ever since. I was so lost and confused, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And I guess I just got really stagnant and just in my comfort zone, which I think a lot of people do. And yeah, so I've done loads of different courses to do with personal styling, fashion buy-in. I've done loads of different things, merchandising, but I could never really pinpoint actually like what I wanted to do. And a few years ago, I did kind of start doing a business where it was personal styling, and personal styling is my heart. And because I've done so many different things like fashion styling, you know, econ styling and stuff like that, but personal styling was something that I really felt in my heart, because I was like, I'm helping real people and I'm helping real women like feel amazing about themselves. So that's why I kind of went down the road of like personal styling, and I was doing that as like a kind of a side hustle whilst working my nighttime job, which looking back on it, I'm thinking, how the hell did I manage to do a nighttime job as well as actually doing social media at the same time, which is just crazy. But yeah, so that was kind of what I was doing a few years ago, and then I was like, yep, let's build on it. And that's when I decided, you know what, let's just take the plunge and let's just take a year off work. Obviously I don't get paid, which, I mean, that would be amazing if I did get paid, but take that time off and just really go all in on this business so I can make it full time. And it started off really well. I was in like a proper hustle stage, which sometimes I feel like you do need to go through in your business, that you do need to have a bit of a hustle season. And then you have times where your business is like really, I don't want to say slow, but it's like you're in more of a laid back season. Like you do have times like that. And even though I'm not a very hustle culture person, but you do have kind of seasons where you do kind of need to do a little bit more than what you would normally do. So I was in that grind for the first few months, and I was building it, but I felt like there was something not right and that there was something missing. But instead of actually listening to myself and listening to my gut, I just carried on and thought, it'll all click into place, it will be fine, like we will just carry on, it will all work out. And kept on going. And don't get me wrong, I had some amazing opportunities. I managed to start a industry leader, and I did that for her movie premiere, which was amazing. So, you know, to have little pinch me moments like that was just incredible. And it kind of gave me that little sign where it's like, yeah, you're doing what you should be doing. Like, this is amazing. But in my gut, I knew that there was something really not right. And I carried on, and I ended up getting some really bad news 2 days before Christmas, actually, that one of my family members has cancer. And so that wasn't great. And then starting off into the following year, obviously the beginning of this year, I then had another family member who also then had testicular cancer, and unfortunately he did pass away. If you can hear that noise, I apologise, because that is my cat. She's having a little bit of a mad moment. So because of all those things that have happened, it actually triggered a lot internally, and I ended up having really bad anxiety, and it was just, I feel like I'm getting like a little bit emotional about this, but it was one of those times where it was old wounds were coming up. I needed to be aware of what was happening. I had to do a lot of inner child healing, and a lot of it was coming through like the reasons why I act the way I act is obviously purely because of my childhood, which when you get into that stuff, it is so goddamn uncomfortable. So yeah, if you've been through it, I praise you. If you haven't, I'd kindly suggest maybe start doing some of that work. But yeah, so I was doing a lot of healing on a journey of discovering who I am as well. I think that was the most profound moment, because I'd spent a lot of my time, I think, bringing in too much outside noise, and then their opinions, what they were doing, especially when it came to my business. It was like other people, what they were doing in their business really leaked into mine, and I thought, yeah, this is the way I need to be doing it. Like, it was really successful for them, so that's what I should be doing. And I think that is where I ended up, to the point of actually sending my mentor probably about a 10-minute TED talk, basically explaining to her that I don't want this business anymore. And this happened in March time. Yeah, I'm sure it was March time this happened. And I was just building a business that I didn't even love. I didn't even want this business. I didn't even know what I was creating, but it didn't feel like me at all. And that's when I just decided, you know what, I'm going to completely change my business. So we ended up going from like a service-based business to a creator-led based business. So I've decided I don't want to take on any more clients, and I actually want to do more creative stuff. So like a podcast or like street interviews, or I mean the bigger vision is like TV work and stuff like that. So that's the thing, the business that I was building, I didn't have a vision for it, whereas now my vision for how I want to take the Real Body Runway is just huge, and it's like really big long-term vision. So I definitely know that I wasn't building it the way that I wanted to be building it. So yeah, to come to this point of basically burning my business down and starting again, and it's a crazy feeling, as well as I guess really overwhelming, and yeah, just to basically start again. Like I'm 32 like in a couple of weeks, and to start again is quite terrifying, but I would rather take that risk. And how do I say this? I'd rather take the risk than die not trying. I think that's the best way I can put it, because I'd rather build something that I want to do, and whether the reward doesn't come, at least I've tried, and that feels so much better than trying to do something that fits into what everyone else is doing. I'd rather build something that is for me and that I want and that I am passionate and love and want to do and change people's lives. And yeah, and the thing is as well, like what I was doing before, I wasn't that passionate about. Whereas now I've kind of gone down the route of bringing in like body confidence, body image into my work, and that is what I'm really passionate about. And the thing is, you can't teach passion, but if there is something that you love to talk about, that you could literally talk about for like days on end, that is your passion. And for me, it's making women feel incredible on the inside as well as on the outside. So having that as like my drive and ambition, that is what's then going to change just the way I run my business and how I want it to look. So yeah, definitely a year that didn't pan out how I thought it would pan out, because I thought, do you know what, I'll leave my business, I'll be really successful, I'm going to be like rolling in the money, it's going to be amazing. And that's another thing as well, my reason for my success, like what I think life looks successful, that's not even the way I want to put it, but what my version of success has completely changed, because I was building it on what was glamorized in the industry, that like I'm gonna hit 6 figures, and that's not even what I want. Obviously the money is amazing, but when you're building from something that you absolutely love and that's from passion, the money is a byproduct anyway. So for me, success is completely different now to what I was building. So to go from being very surface level and it being very money orientated, and that's the thing as well, I attached myself so much to making money that I just didn't make anything at all. So once you let all that go, it's so much better. But yeah, so to think that my original idea of how my year was going to go, to the fact that yes, I was going to blow up, I was going to leave my job, this is going to be amazing, was basically the complete opposite. But I wouldn't change this year at all, because what I feel like I've done internally and externally is amazing, and I'm so proud of that and so happy for that. So sometimes you need to go down the wrong path to get to the right path. That's what my therapist said to me, and it's one of those words that have really stuck to me. And yeah, it's so true, because I was literally going down the wrong path, but now I feel like I'm going down the right path. So yeah, sometimes things don't happen the way that you think it's going to happen, but it turns out to be so much better than what you think. So yeah, the year's been an interesting journey, and I'm technically supposed to go back to my job on the 13th of July, but as of today, well, I mean, this is a little bit of exclusive, but obviously by the time this goes out, it will already happen. But I have officially handed my notice in. So after 16 years, it's a bit of a bittersweet moment, because I'm like, yes, oh my God, I've left my job. And then now I'm like, oh my God, I've left my job. But, you know, it is what it is. It's a new chapter, and I'm so excited to see how this chapter is going to go. So yeah, that's kind of like my last year and what's happened with it. And basically the reason why I've come to this concept of build, become and live is pretty much I want to just document building my business, becoming the person and living the life that I want. Because it's so easy to build your life on what everyone else is doing and not actually building the life that you generally want. And I think going through this healing journey and like this journey of discovery, I've really come back to myself, and I've started to really trust myself again. I mean, there's still loads of work to do in terms of like trusting myself, but I'm starting to listen to myself again and what I truly want, and not follow what everyone else is doing. So I really want to just spend like this next chapter building a life that I really want. So yeah, so that's where the build, become and live concept, that's where it's come from really. So yeah, just building my business, becoming the person and living my life. So obviously in terms of like building my business, I want to document what I'm doing, what's happening inside of it. Becoming the person is obviously like my mindset, things like doing things that scare me, no bullshit excuses anymore, learning to trust myself, keeping promises to myself. I think that's another big thing. So yeah, documenting that, all like my mindset and what I'm going through with that, and also just living my life. So things like my habits, my routines, going on solo dates and dating myself. Like there's so many different things that, you know, I want to do, as well as obviously focusing on my body as well, because like I said before, I've got Hashimoto's thyroiditis, so I have to really learn to listen to my body. But I'm doing quite a lot of research at the moment on how to try and make myself better, because it's so easy. Because like you go to the doctors and they go, here's a pill and you've got to take that for the rest of your life, but they don't actually tell you what you can do to make yourself better. But you know, that's another thing for another day. So yeah, so that's another thing I want to do is kind of go on a little bit of a journey in terms of like what foods are good for you, what, you know, exercises are good for you and stuff like that. So yeah, that's basically my concept behind this whole entire podcast, and yeah, why I'm basically turning my life into an operation of get my shit together. Because you can do the healing journey and you can spend so long in that cycle, but if you don't actually just get on and do the thing, you're just going to be stuck in that cycle. So now I feel like I've got to that point where I've done a lot of self-awareness, a lot of work on myself, my inner child, reparenting my inner child, all that jazz. And now I'm like, right, we need to actually just get on with it now and just do the thing. So yeah, I'm looking forward to what this next chapter is going to be like, and what Operation Get My Shit Together is going to look like. So yeah, so that's my first episode of just basically explaining the reasons behind this concept of this podcast and my journey in like the last year. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to where I guess the rest of the episodes take me. And yeah, I really hope that you'll follow along with this journey, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. So yeah, I look forward to it.